Hey, it's Dale from the WebPub class, and I want to walk you through the proper folder structure in order to move through with the rest of our projects this semester. I have a very dirty desktop here. As you can see, I've got a bunch of crap on it. And when that's the case, it's especially important to be able to find everything and keep everything in an organized manner. So I'm going to show you where I'm working. So I'm working out of this template folder. So that can be your desktop. It can be anywhere. This doesn't have to say template. It's just what I've called it. What I would advise you to do is if you have a lot of files on your desktop that you're working on with your web project, I would create a folder, call it web. I don't care what you call it. This one I have called WebPub. Call it whatever you want. Put all your files in that one place. So you have one folder like I do here with template that contains all of my HTML files, my pictures, a style sheet. Once you add a style sheet, you won't have that or the header for right now with Project 1. But keep your files in a neat and orderly fashion, and keeping them in a folder will do that. So what we're going to need to do moving from Project 1 to Project 2 is we're going to have to duplicate these files, and then we're going to create another folder, and we're going to move those duplicates into that other folder. Then we're going to upload that folder into the public HTML using Fetch or any other FTP service. Then you will begin working on these files, the original files, adding CSS to them and customizing them for Project 2. So I'm going to walk you through that process right now. Here again is my original folder. I'm going to create a new folder within that, and I'm going to call it P1 for Project 1, and I recommend you do the same. Notice that it's a lowercase p. Now, the next thing is I'm going to copy all of these files over. You're not going to have a header.jpg right now. You're also not going to have a style.css. I'm going to go ahead and copy them over anyway. So you'll just have 4 HTML files and probably a couple, you'll probably have at least 4 images because you were supposed to have an image per page. On a Mac, if you have everything highlighted and you hold down the Option key and you start dragging everything, you're going to notice everything is now moving. But the big thing to look at is that plus sign right underneath the cursor. That means I am duplicating these. I'm adding a copy to them. If I go ahead and, I'm going to undo that. If I highlight all of them and I don't hold down the Option key and I just drag, you'll see that plus sign is not there. So make sure that you do that. So I want to go ahead and highlight all these. And I'm going to hold down the Option key because I want to create a duplicate of these files and move them into that P1 folder. So now I'm going to do it to where that P1 folder is highlighted. I can either drop them right there or I can put them right here while that folder is highlighted. So everything is now moved. So you can see I have the original files here, and then inside the P1 folder I have that copy of my files from Project 1. So now that I do that, I go to Fetch, and I'm going to log into Fetch. So I go to the public HTML, and now what I'm going to want to do is I need to put that entire folder, that P1 folder, into Fetch. So I highlight the folder. Don't just highlight the files. If you do that, it's just going to override everything you have. You want the entire folder to be uploaded. So I'm going to put that in. So it's now creating that and moving everything. So now it is all there. So now inside of my public HTML folder, once you find it, okay, so I now have a P1 folder, and there are all those files. So now if I go to daleblassingame.net/P1, which that's what we've done here. We've created a new folder in my website, a new subpage in my website, and I click on it, and there's my template folder, all those files that I had in. Of course, this is going to look different from yours because I've already attached a style sheet and everything to it. But that's how I'll be able to go back and look at your project 1, and then this will be what you link to on the assignments page for project 1 moving forward. So then anything else you change inside these files, when we start adding style and everything else, then you will simply upload these to the public HTML on Fetch or whatever FTP you use, and those will override your old files and your new site will be there. Hopefully that makes sense. It is a little tricky, but it's really, really important to make sure you get that file or folder structure correct before you do it, because you don't want to overwrite your old site. You don't want to overwrite all the work you did with old files, and likewise. You also want to make sure you keep everything in one place and it's organized and easy for you to understand what's going on.